Yeah, man. It's the one only DJ Chase, the pregame party Miss podcast right here on WDJC DB DJ Chase Radio. Today's episode is brought to you by the College Radio Directory. Use the promo code DJ Chase and Groove are the hottest platform to get in touch with labels, playlist curators, content creators, and real feedback, not bots. But we got Spain. I'm gonna say, all right. So we're gonna get into you in Madrid, Spain, right now, right?
Yes, sir. Coming live from Madrid, Spain. I appreciate you for having me, DJ.
For sure, for sure. Now let me ask you a question. You were born in St. Louis, or you were from St. Louis and moved there, or back and forth?
So I was born in Spain, but
Okay.
I was raised in St. Louis.
Okay, got you.
So,
What made you go all the way back to Spain?
man, I missed it.
Yeah.
The full story. A military brat. My dad was Air Force, and he met my mom in Spain. So my dad is from Georgia, and my mom is Spanish, full blooded.
Yeah.
So I was born here. We moved around. We was in England for a few years when my brother was born. We lived in Turkey, and then we was in Spain again. And then at 10 years of age, they shut down. When I was 10 years old, they shut down the base, and we moved to St. Louis. We moved to Scott Air Force Base.
Yeah.
And from that point on, that's where I lived. That was home for me.
Yeah.
And so yeah. When I first came over there, I'll be honest with you, I had like a British accent because
Oh wow.
I was living there 4 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But after being in for so long, that Midwest twang just hit different, and it just stuck. I
For
can't get rid of
sure.
it now.
For sure. Was coming to America a culture shock for you?
To a degree, yeah. So I mean, I went to military school, so I was still surrounded by all kinds of American kids from all over, right? But coming from a very, I guess if I want to say the word, it's going to be like a vast culture, exposed to different cultures, different people. I mean, it wasn't just like a straight up St. Louis or New York vibe or whatever. It was just a big old melting pot.
Yeah.
And so to come to the States, yeah, it was very much a culture shock because you're kind of insulated inside that military school system and things like that. And so, it was very eye-opening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to say that racism didn't exist, but it was different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you.
It's like eye-opening.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally understand. America has, and it wasn't like that when we was kids. America wasn't as racist. It's more racist now. Like America was never racist like the way it is now. You know what I'm saying? Like not when the '90s. No, I'm a '90s, '80s, '90s kid. So it wasn't really that bad. Were your parents involved? I mean, you said they was in the military, but were they involved in entertainment in any way?
Nah, none of them. That was just me. I guess I'm the one that kind of start the whole thing within the family. So
Yeah.
I've got my kids is excited to get into it themselves. So
For sure. Got you.
I got my middle child is he's one to be a YouTuber and he's into all that stuff.
When did you realize you want to make music?
Man, so I decided I want to start making music back in 04. I just came out of Iraq, actually.
Yeah.
So I would follow military footsteps myself, you know what I mean? And getting sent overseas, did a bit. And when I came back, decided I want to start making music. I was doing poetry before that. Poetry, I was in the theater. So I've always been a creative mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so honestly, I'm not gonna mention who I heard on the radio, but it was a song. I was like, man, this is getting played. Oh nah, I can do better than this. And so
yeah.
It was like the impulse to start it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
I didn't have a producer. I didn't have an engineer. None of that. I was just like, I'm gonna do this. And it's funny because when you decide to do something, one way or another, you find a way. You start meeting the right people, and that's what happened. You know what I mean? Next thing I know, we had formed a group of 10 people. You know what I mean? Over there in East St. Louis, and man, we was writing, recording, able to actually get one of our songs to the radio.
Oh, nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And got featured on Inbox DVD magazine, which was St. Louis magazine for hip hop at the time.
Yeah, for sure. That's dope, man. And I want to ask you this too. Like, when you first came over here, like, who would you listen to? Like, because I know the music. Did you listen to hip hop overseas when you was over there?
Oh man, yeah, man. I mean, the first rap song I remember was LL Cool J, "I'm Bad." You know what
for
I mean?
sure.
And from that point, I was stuck. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I mean, so I was born. I'm an '80s baby. You
yeah,
know what I
same here.
mean?
Yeah,
And so, whoop, there it is. You had tag team.
gotcha. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
gotcha. Now, huh?
Once we came stateside, that's really when like the chronic and everything started taking off,
For sure.
regulators and all that stuff.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like,
It was turned out after that. That's how. That's
yeah,
the good times right there.
yeah.
For sure, for sure. Now you make music in both English and Spanish, of course. Do you find it easier to rhyme in Spanish or English?
English,
Oh, okay,
definitely English.
English. Gotcha. Why you
Mhm.
say that?
Just because I spent the majority of my time in the states. So
Mm,
when we moved to the states, it was pretty much all English at that point. We stopped really speaking Spanish for the most part because who else are you gonna talk to besides my
mm.
mom? My dad didn't
Uh,
speak any Spanish. He never
Okay,
bothered to
gotcha. Okay,
learn.
gotcha.
So unless I was gonna talk to my sisters,
Yeah,
yeah. So it was like
English. Okay,
just
gotcha. Okay.
English. So
Gotcha. And it's crazy because like I said, I want to get into some of ask you about it because you do rhyme in Spanish, so it's like you don't you like to me,
mhm.
I couldn't. I mean, I'm from the Bronx, so I know I grew up with Spanish people all day. So it's like you really can't tell the difference, like that you don't that you find it you do both very well. Excuse me, you feel me? So
Yeah,
you do
yeah. No,
both
I
very well.
appreciate it.
Hmm.
And that's what my people say. You know what I mean? Even here, they're like, "But you speak Spanish so well." It take me longer
Mm,
to come up with the rhyme schemes and stuff because also you have to think of certain sayings and things that make sense in English that we might say
mm.
would not transfer
And in
over at
Spanish, it sounds
all
crazy in
in
Spanish.
Spanish.
Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
nobody would understand, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
then people have had to hit me too. It's like certain phrases or like if I want
Or
to
especially in
put like
Spanish,
a
because
double
sometimes the
entendre
span,
on something and
because
I say it in
sometimes
Spanish.
yeah, it sounds a little racist. Like say something you can say it in Spanish, it'll sound racist in America too. I know that too. Yeah. Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Your record,
So it's
yeah,
it's a little tricky trying to figure that out.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Your record get to work.
Okay.
I love the hook. And as you say, 5 p.m. I'm asleep. And what inspired the get to work record?
Man, what inspired is it's just based off of real life experiences and really how I get down. So, I was in the military. I was in the army for quite a bit. And 5 a.m. That's wake up time. That's when you get up, go do your PT, your physical fitness,
Yeah.
and I still do that now. Like I try to stay in shape, try to
Mm,
stay informed. I feel like it helps me to charge the day and just make the
mm,
most of it. So,
for sure.
the earlier that you can get into that mindset, putting in the work, the more successful you be.
For sure, I love that. I love that. I love my military brothers. Shout out to all my friends in military. It's funny because I get all my military, my Air Force, and I don't. I was scared to go. You know what I'm saying? I was scared to go. I should have went, but I was scared to go. Another record I want to touch on is the unreleased record, Bond and Father and Son. You know what I'm saying? You let me hit that. You let me get that record. What inspired that record? I love, how you were saying, that your son is your inspiration. What inspired? We hear songs about mothers all the time, but what inspired the songs about fathers?
Man, so all right, so me and my son, well, I have three boys, and this is my
Mm-hmm.
oldest son. And so, I'm a huge boy dad. Like I love spending time with my kids. It's one of the greatest things that could have ever happened to me is being a father. You know what I mean? Spend as much time as we can. But my oldest son, especially, he is very introverted,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
we recently actually found out that he's on the spectrum a little bit. And so
Oh wow. Okay.
uh, he doesn't like to express a whole lot of emotions and things
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah.
But he wanted to do a song with me. I wanted to do a song with him,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was a way for him to kind of open up. And so he wrote his own bars. It was his first time ever writing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for him to come up with what he did, it was just like, man, it blew me away. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's amazing. Now he's writing more songs now. And so he's excited
Yeah.
about the music,
Yeah.
and it was just really, I don't think initially when I set out to make the song, it was something for me to really put out to like the world. But
Mm-hmm.
when I thought about it, what I mean, I was like, man, this is the type of thing that I think more fathers need. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we need more more public displays of this,
Mm.
fathers and sons bonding together, spending that time celebrating each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, of
And so
course.
that's what it was. You know,
Yeah, yeah, for
and
sure,
so
man. Certainly. Yeah,
yeah,
like like fathers, I grew up with both my parents. My mom passed away in 2022. But I grew up with both my parents. They were crazy as lunatics, but you only get one set of parents, so you try to make the best of them. And I really appreciate that record because as men, especially minority men, black men, Spanish men, we get treated like crap. You feel me? We get the bottom. You would think that we just like cows. You feel me? We just I mean, like billy
yeah,
goats and just let our kids roam the streets.
yeah.
My dad, I love him to death, and he's like my best friend, and we argue all the time, sometimes, but I listen. His word to me is law. You feel me? Like I do music because of my father. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate that song, and I'm backing that song 100%. You have the back it from me on that end. What led to you the decision to make more positive music?
Ah, because that's just the type of person that I am. Overall, I'm just a positive person. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? And I would like for my legacy, regardless whatever happens to me, to be that I contributed something. I contributed more good to the world than anything that I took from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
And so, music is a powerful thing. You know what I mean? And I wanted to reflect who I really am
Yeah. Yeah.
and not try to create some kind of facade. You know what I mean? And I'm definitely not one dimensional, so that's why I don't mind doing a party song
Mm-hmm.
or just whatever I'm feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for the most part, by and large, I'm a very positive minded person. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? And if I can help somebody, if I can make something that's going to inspire people, motivate people to be the best version of themselves, to live the best life that they can,
Yeah.
then I'm all for it. And that's really what was the driving force behind Get to Work in the album that is part of the Game Motivation. It's all
Mm-hmm.
songs that's meant to lift and inspire and get people to try to, perceive the best version of themselves. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure, man. And I want to ask this question too. We're gonna wrap this up in a few. Do you like the stage better or you like the studio better?
Man, it's two different animals, right? So
Yeah.
nothing replaces the energy from the stage,
Mm.
right? Like because you get in the crowd and the energy because it's like, yo, if you forget your lyrics, but you know what I mean, it's
Yeah.
live, so you can't. There's no do overs like you do
Mm.
with the studio.
Yeah.
But then at the same time with the studio, it's like you get the chance to try to make it as perfect
Mm.
as you can. It's like, all right, this didn't come out this way, and you could experiment and play around with it. So it's two different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I enjoy them both.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And what is the hardest thing that you have to deal with in music business now? Like, because you're very disciplined and from the military and the armed services, and the music business is the most unorthodox business on earth. What is one of the hardest things you have to deal with in the music business?
Man, avoiding the scams. There's a
Yeah,
lot of scammers, a
yeah.
lot of people that's trying to sell you dreams, and people that ain't serious about the business,
Mm,
or you know what I mean. So it's just you apply common sense and realize there's no shortcuts to it.
for
You know
sure.
what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
so that's the main thing.
Definitely. And I do want to ask this question. I see you working on a collab project with Mike Jeezy and Joe Killer, Party Games. Now I want to ask this question. The records I heard, one of them is all in Spanish. So the whole project is going to be both in English and Spanish, or just Spanish.
So the whole concept of the album is Spanglish pretty much. We do
Gotcha.
have one song that's completely in Spanish, and then the rest of them are just kind of mixed, where
Mm-hmm.
you might have like half a verse for me in Spanish, or a whole verse for me in English, and they're still doing it in Spanish.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But it's
Copy,
all
copy.
part of the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got you. And who's your dream collaboration? Like, if you collaborate with anybody, like I said, I know you're influenced by Bad Bunny. You're influenced by Rakim, LL Cool J. Who would your dream collaboration be?
Oof. Oof. All right. So Eminem would be one,
Yeah,
just because
that's
that
Eminem.
dude's
Yeah,
fun.
that's Eminem.
LL Cool J. Yeah, L Cool J would be one because that was like my first,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? First uh idol, or I'm not even gonna call him idol, but the first person I really looked at, like, dang, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? On the Spanish side, I would say Carol G. That would
Okay.
be a dope one.
Yeah.
Um, there's this Puerto Rican female rapper, Young Miko.
Okay.
She would be dope.
Mm,
Um, and then I guess if we're gonna try to update it some, J. Cole would be another one.
okay.
Um, I know you're getting a lot of hate, but I'd still love to do something with Drake though. He's
Nah,
so
Drake.
versatile.
But
I
Drake,
think
Drake.
Drake would be a
Listen,
dope one
decide.
too.
The people are finicky, man. Drake was still he reigned for a long time. So I don't like his music, but he definitely reigned for a long
Mm-hmm.
time. You know what I'm saying? I give credit where credit is due. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
For sure, for
So I
sure.
think I think for me, those folks I just named, I think that's a pretty good list, but definitely a lot more. Joyner Lucas would be another good one, I think.
Yeah, I can definitely see you with Joyner Lucas. He's dope too. And then one of my last questions before we get out of here, man. So, what is the future for AP to play? What is the future?
Man, more music, a lot more music. I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to release a new song at least once a month.
Mm,
Once a month, a new song. Uh, Looking to do a lot more traveling, start doing more shows, both in and outside the country. It's looking like pretty soon I might be headed down to Colombia for a collaboration down there. Going to be doing
fire,
some interviews in person down there. So
fire.
hopefully when that happens,
Yeah, that's fire.
we set up some shows. Um, and I'll be back stateside this summer in July.
Mm.
So I might do a couple of shows while in the states. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm in the Carolinas now, so when you let me know if you come in the Carolinas, we definitely link up.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I got family in the South, man.
Yeah. For sure, man. And my last question before we get out of here, man, AP the player. I ask this to everybody because my show is about giving gems and game. You've been doing this for a little minute. What advice do you have for anyone trying to get into the music business right now, like any independent artist, signed artist? What advice would you give somebody that wants to be in the music business today?
All right. So you got to remember, it's the music business. So you got to be prepared. It's not just doing music, recording it, and that's it. Like, you got to take care of your paperwork. You got to make sure that you register your music in the right places. And then on top of that, you're going to spend. It's probably even more important how much you promote your music than it is the time that you spend recording it. You know what I mean? Once it sounds good, cool. But now you really have to push it to put it out there and get it in front of people and fight to get it heard, because it's so many people making music right now. You might be the best rapper in the world, but ain't nobody just gonna stand there and listen to you or just give you credit for it without you giving them a real reason for them to listen to it, because it's too many people, and they don't know who you are. So you
Yeah.
have to fight and find your way to open that up for people to really hear who you are and what you got to offer.
For sure. You know this, man, my guy, the one and only AP the player. Where can people find you? Plug everything, brother.
Man, you can find me on Insta at AP the Player. You can find me on Facebook. Everything's AP the Player. So Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Apple Music. I'm on everything.
You
And
know
you can
this,
check out
man.
my YouTube channel too.
For sure, man. Yeah. I see here in my notes. You know this, man. AP the player, my guy. Thank you all the way live from Madrid, Spain. This is one of my first international interviews, like really popping off. So thank you for that. The new single "Get to Work" out now. Once again, the pregame party miss podcast right here on WDJCDB DJ Chase Radio, www.djchaseradio.com. Download that mobile app on iPhone, Android phones, whatever phone you got. Download that DJ Chase Radio app. Spotify podcast, Apple podcast, and YouTube, DJ Chase TV. And I'm out. Yeah.